This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. I want to begin this half hour with this. Cases of anti-Semitism in the United States are shattering records for a fourth straight year. A new report shows an 84% spike in assaults on college campuses in 2024. CBN Washington correspondent Michelle London explains why this is an urgent issue that demands our attention.
The Anti-Defamation League has been actively tracking a sharp rise in anti-Semitic activity across the globe since Hamas's deadly terrorist attacks in Israel. The new report reveals recorded cases of vandalism, harassment, and assault in 2024 reached the highest totals in 45 years. The ADL's total of more than 9,000 cases in 2024 comes out to an average of at least 25 targeted anti-Jewish incidents every day. Anti-Semitic cases were documented in all 50 states, but New York had the highest numbers with close to 1,440 cases, according to ADL data. California followed with more than 1,300.
And I think this should be alarming to all Americans.
Former U.S. Deputy Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism, Eli Cohenim, telling CBN News this is part of a broader trend worldwide.
Since October 7th, we've seen that there is this pro-Hamas movement that's taken over countries around the globe.
On college campuses, these incidents were up 84% at nearly 1,700 reported cases, despite some universities' efforts to combat these challenges. Last month, anti-Israel protesters took over this building at Bernard College. Jewish students struggled to get to class.
It's exactly the reason why the Trump administration is taking the actions that it is to deport those who are here, who are breaking the terms of their visas, and also to hold the universities accountable.
The report also said 962 cases were linked to anti-Semitic material from white supremacist groups. The report notes true statistics are likely much worse, especially in K-12 schools where bullying and harassment are often underreported. Michelle London, CBN News, Washington.
For decades, pro-life pregnancy centers have faced attacks from abortion providers and their political allies, including federal, state, and local governments. Now, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are hoping to change that by introducing legislation that is designed to keep these centers and their employees safe. Our Charlene Aaron is on this story.
In addition to protection, the Let Pregnancy Centers Serve Act of 2025 would prohibit government discrimination and retaliation against those care centers that refuse to point to abortion as an option. Pro-life lawmakers maintain the measure is needed now more than ever.
Notwithstanding any other law, the federal government and any individual or entity that receives federal financial assistance, including any state or local government, may not penalize or retaliate against an entity because the entity offers life-affirming support and resources to women facing unexpected pregnancy, or offers life-affirming alternatives to abortion, or refrains from abortion.
Several Republican House members joined Representative Chris Smith to unveil the legislation. Following the Supreme Court ending Roe v. Wade, attacks on crisis pregnancy centers increased. 2022 alone saw more than 100 such attacks nationwide, which included firebombings, vandalism, and deadly threats. Yet authorities did not make one single arrest. Now, certain states are weaponizing various laws to stop these centers from saving lives. Gabriella McIntyre, legal counsel for Alliance Defending Freedom, represents several of these pro-life clinics.
These pregnancy resource centers have been harassed not only by these blue state attorneys general and these legislatures who are attempting to pass these censorship laws and otherwise trying to prevent and interfere with these pregnancy resource centers' missions, but they've also been receiving it from the public.
In New Jersey, ADF is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to consider that Attorney General Matthew Platke's investigation into the faith-based First Choice Women's Resource Centers as unconstitutional. That's because he's demanding the group identify donors and produce up to 10 years of its internal confidential documents.
Coming from a very hostile attorney general who has said to consumers, he has issued a consumer alert stating that these pregnancy resource centers are bad for women, that they should go to Planned Parenthood instead. He's also made many public statements calling these pregnancy resource centers extremist.
In New York, Attorney General Letitia James is using her power to censor pregnancy centers over advising women about the option of using progesterone to reverse the effect of abortion pills.
Letitia James, if she has her way, would prevent women from even knowing that they have this choice.
And the state of Illinois has been sued over adding reproductive health decisions last year to its Human Rights Act. The law now can stop religious organizations from only hiring employees who share the ministry's pro-life beliefs. Such actions highlight how politicians and the abortion industry consider these pregnancy care centers as a true threat.
Because why would they spend their time attacking pregnancy centers if they weren't effective, if they weren't actually helping women and babies? And to me, that is a huge testament of the effectiveness of letting these pregnancy centers serve.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Cases of measles have now spread to a ninth state, Montana. This comes after cases were reported in recent days in Louisiana, Missouri, and Virginia. So far, some 800 cases have been reported this year, with nearly 600 of those in Texas alone. Already this year, the United States has more than double the number of measles cases it saw in all of 2024. Health experts fear the virus will take hold in other U.S. communities with low vaccination rates, and that could spread for a year in terms of how long it stretches. For nearly 50 years, Regent University is committed to training up young people to succeed in their professions, ministries, and communities. Now it seeks to add modern athletic facilities to further enrich their experience. Our Wendy Griffith reports.
Hundreds of people have gathered here at the Founders Inn, not only to hear from legendary athlete Tim Tebow, but plans to build a $50 million state-of-the-art athletic center right here on campus that will take the Regent Royals athletic program to a whole new level.
It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be a part of this process. Our founder, Dr. Robertson, was just so intentional on wanting to do this, see this athletic department grow and have these facilities on campus. So to be a part of making this come to reality is just a blessing and an honor.
The Regent Royals currently compete in 11 varsity sports, including men's and women's basketball, track, volleyball, and soccer.
Next year, we're starting beach volleyball for women and baseball in the spring. And then the following year, we're bringing softball. And then 2 years from now, men's and women's tennis. So we're growing and just really trying to fulfill that vision.
Chancellor Gordon Robertson called the new athletic center a game changer, not just for Regent, but the entire community.
It absolutely will be an incredible benefit for every high school, and certainly an incredible benefit as we look to grow our undergraduate on-campus university from 2,000 to 4,000 over the next 5 years.
Those attending this special fundraising event also heard an inspiring message from former professional athlete Tim Tebow.
Tonight, hopefully we're not here because, hey, we get to build a stadium for a game. No, it's we get to create and invest in the next generation of leaders that are going to influence the world. And hopefully it doesn't end at the world. It ripples into eternity, into heaven.
Olympic hopeful Marilee Valentina from the Dutch Caribbean island of Curacao got her start at Regent in a number of sports, including the javelin.
I actually have 7 records here on the track and field team at Regent. I would love to compete at the Olympic Games in 2028. For my country specifically, I would definitely need to better my throw right now that I have, my current record. And I'm kind of like maybe 6 to 8 years away from that record.
And for student athlete Ernest Park, a member of the track team, this expansion means a lot.
Seeing all these people who've come out to really put Regent on the map. They're donating, they're doing all this good stuff for us, and it means a lot.
The new athletic center should be completed in about 2 years. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
Coming up, an emotional journey, 45 years in the making for this woman. See why she and other Jewish people are fleeing France to Israel. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Nearly 50 Jewish immigrants moved from France to Israel. Their unique flight was an exodus from fear as well as a return to a promise thousands of years in the making. CBN's Chris Mitchell brings us their story from the Ben Gurion Airport.
Leaving chaos behind, they arrived with hope in their hearts and Israel in their eyes. At 17, Deborah Safir wanted to make Aliyah, although her parents insisted she finish school.
And then life, you get married, you work, so it was difficult.
Her tears tell a story of longing and now fulfillment.
So happy, you can't imagine. A lot of emotion. I've been waiting this moment for 45 years. So finally I've made it. Sorry.
Noah traded fear for freedom.
Life in France is very, very, very hard for us. Everyone's anti-Semitic, basically. You have posters on the wall saying, "Free Palestine, boycott Israel," and I couldn't do this anymore. So, okay, left everything, and I'm here, and it's great to be here.
It's a move both daunting and thrilling.
Honestly, I'm anxious because I'm leaving everything behind, my family, my 4 siblings, everyone. I came alone, and I'm just 22, so I'm basically just a baby. I'm also very excited for what's to come.
What's happening behind me is that these new immigrants are being processed, so by the time they leave, they'll have their new Israeli identity cards. They're coming at a time of a dramatic increase in anti-Semitic incidents in France, especially since October 7th.
Very difficult situation in terms of anti-Semitism right now. Just in recent events in the last few days alone, there have been alarming incidents. A rabbi who was walking with his 9-year-old son coming from synagogue was beaten up. I spoke to some of the officials there, and they said to me, you know what was especially upsetting about this incident is that the perpetrator who beat up this Jew, he didn't even run away.
Here's people in Paris, which is most people's bucket list, to go to Paris, to see the Eiffel Tower, to see Notre Dame. And here's people saying, we want to get our families out of Paris, out of France, and come to a nation that has war around them on 6, arguably 7 sides, and yet they feel safer coming to Israel than staying in France. That's a sad thing that we need to stand up with as Christians with our Jewish brothers and sisters and change that.
France has the 2nd largest Jewish population outside of the U.S. For many, life became a daily act of courage.
My children wanted me to, after the 7th of October, to take my mezuzah off the door. And I said, no way, I'm a Jew, and I'll keep the mezuzah.
This flight happened through the generosity of Pastor Larry Huck, an evangelical Christian who believes in the biblical mandate to bring the Jewish people home. For him, this isn't charity, it's covenant.
It feels like it's my family. It feels like I have a relationship. I saw them in France at the synagogue, saw them get on the plane, hugged them when they're coming out of the plane, hugged them when they came in, and it moved me more than I thought it would.
A homecoming thousands of years in the making.
But the exciting thing for us is that the Bible says that we as Gentiles will not only welcome them back, but will bring them in our arms and on our shoulders to fulfill Bible prophecy. So it's a double Bible prophecy. It's Jews returning to the promised land that God gave to Abraham 3,700 years ago, and Gentiles, Christians, instead of pushing them out of the land, we're bringing them back.
Today, that prophecy comes with a boarding pass, a luggage tag, and an identity card.
They're coming, yes, for a better life. They're coming for a safer life, an education for their children, but they're coming home. Every one of them said, we're going home.
Because it's the land of my parents, of my ancestors. And it's like the shofar's call. It's a calling within us. I want to bring up my children in Israel, to live surrounded by my brothers and sisters, to live as a free Jew.
Because it's a calling we have inside of us. It resonates as a desire to return to our land, to return to our country. Since we now have Israel, it's our place as Jews to be in Israel. And we're going to contribute to achieving this completeness so that Messiah will arrive and we're all delivered. And there is only good in the world and no more evil in the world.
Grunberg delivered a message to Christians.
We don't take for granted our evangelical Christian brothers and sisters who stand with us, with the people of Israel, shoulder to shoulder. We have shared Judeo-Christian values. I send blessings from Jerusalem for the support, for the friendship, for the moral courage to stand with Israel. True friends are tested when standing with their friends during the difficult times. And these have been difficult times. And so we're thrilled to partner with our evangelical Christian brothers and sisters, and we thank them.
We followed Deborah to see her sons who made Aliyah years ago. Then came the moment she dreamed about for 45 years.
Great, I mean, amazing. We were waiting for this for years and now it's happened, so congratulations, Mazal Tov. We're really happy to see her here.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, David Ben-Gurion Airport.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. They are the men closest to Jesus as he walked out that final week of his life. In the popular hit series The Chosen, George Xanthus plays the role of John, Noah James plays Andrew, and Shahar Isaac plays Simon Peter.
Do you have any idea what that was? I've never seen him do anything like that, ever. Well, has anyone seen any physical aggression of any kind?
Each of you guys have lived with these characters for a little bit. How would you say they have evolved up to now in season 5? Where do we find each of them?
It would be easy to just give us these characters in their finished form, and I think that's the success of the show, is we bring these characters that we know are on the stained glass windows and bring them down to eye level within touching distance. And so John, it would be easy to have him as the beloved disciple, you know, or the disciple of love instantly, but instead the show kind of charts a path from him to be this zealous, you know, kind of very emotional and passionate disciple who means well, but Jesus teaches him to channel that righteousness, channel that passion for righteous reasons. And in season 5, we see kind of the peak of that journey, just where I think John is like, oh, I think this is where I need to channel my energy. And he's starting to understand what's happening. We were asked to use like one word for like this season for your character. And for John, it was something along the lines of acceptance or even awareness.
Another servant he sent. And him they stoned to death.
I think it's so fun to see growth and a character arc that doesn't look like this, but it looks like that. And that's how I feel with Andrew. And I love trying to portray that and bring that to life, because I feel like I feel that in my life. And I think so many of us feel growth and our journey like that, and like scribbling. And then you're like, oh, I ended there, but you can't draw it like that. And definitely season 4, there was a lot of growth in Andrew, a lot of feeling like I had to grow up. And then season 5, it's put to the test. And sometimes when you are put to the test, you are confronted with the reality of where you really are in your journey. And Andrew for sure is confronted with where he is at, and the difficulty of sort of seeing this Holy Week, the circumstances with clear eyes, because it feels like the world is falling in around us.
Everything you just told us, which included our deaths and the end of the age, and not even you know when.
Only the Father.
It's now is a moment of confusion. You know, there was growth in the right direction for my character, and then at this point, seeing what happens during this season and hearing what is about to happen leaves me in this ephemeral plane where I really don't know where it's going and what's going on. And I have to admit that this is a little bit the theme of this season, seeing what happens in the market with the tables turning. That's a level of violence, which is something new that I have not seen in what we were doing up until now. And that's pretty shocking, and that leaves me pretty bewildered.
What are you doing?
So in season 5, I want you guys to finish this statement. In season 5, I am most excited for audiences to see
the big screen and the photography work and camera work that is gonna mesmerize people.
I am most excited for people to see The Last Supper. That was something that was really special to film. We filmed that for 6 days straight, all day, sitting in the same chairs. And there was something about entering into the space again at the start of the day and sitting, and you were right here to my left, and we go, here we are again. And there was something just really mesmerizing, I think, about putting that on film. And I'm really excited to see that all come together.
The triumphant entry. I just think that it's something that we kind of forget about. It is the start of this week, and in Easter celebrations, you know, that moment is kind of at the start of the week is a reminder of how excited people were at that moment, but then it's juxtaposed with the Last Supper and obviously what ends up happening to Jesus. So it reminds you that they had no idea, these disciples had no idea what was going to happen that week. Seeing the journey to get to those iconic moments is where the show finds its success. That's why people love the show.
I love you too, John.
The cast of The Chosen is multi-talented. George Xanthus is an actor, a writer, and a producer. Noah James is a writer and director, as well as an actor. Shahar Isaac, of course, an actor and loves photography. You can sample his work on his social media platforms. You can also catch a new edition of Studio 5 this evening at 8 Eastern on the CBN News Channel. You can also watch it on the CBN News app, or you can find it on YouTube. We'll be right back with your Wednesday Word. Time for your Wednesday Word, and today's word is death. Consider this. This is a great day to die. God is calling us all to die daily so he can live. Die to self, die to your will, allow Christ to live in you. Give life to his will, give life to his way. He promises it is a life of abundance, but it only comes after you die. Crucify everything that is not like him. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'll see you back here same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.